Once the identified hazard has passed, local safety officials will either give the school the okay to return to normal operations or ask that the school building be evacuated so that cleanup and decontamination procedures could commence.
Football League's MVP.
They got shot.
When we enter the recovery phase of incidents, it is important to the students to return to normal operations as soon as possible. They draw strength from the structure and stability. However, consider pushing any tests or major project deadlines back to compensate for the disruption. Allow sufficient time for the students to discuss the incident amongst each other. It is not up to me, the teacher, to have all the answers. Instead, I ask questions and guide the discussion. It is crucial that you know your role as well as your parents' role in the proper reunification process to pick up their children. If you want to further assist your building in becoming better prepared, establish a building crisis management team. This team should contact your local emergency responders to confirm the phone numbers of the agencies and points of contact are current. Establish a communication system between first responders and each building, which should include unlisted school numbers for use in emergencies, a mode to communicate to classrooms and any remote areas, two-way radio system to communicate with emergency personnel. Attempt to get a district representative placed in your county's emergency planning committee. Design drills and exercises to practice and test your school's response plans. Construct shelter-in-place bags to make the process as tolerable as possible for the students. These should include water, toilet paper, magazines, games, as well as special medical needs required by students. Consider developing a stockpile of items for longer shelter-in-place responses. If an emergency develops at your school, requiring you and your students to relocate to a common shelter-in-place location with other classes, consider using the Ohio Department of Health's to-go bag concept to augment this emergency response. The to-go bag concept provides school staff with vital student, staff, and building information to be used during the first minutes of an emergency evacuation. This bag is a portable and readily accessible collection of important forms and supplies. The goal of the To-Go Bag project is to assist schools in the proactive planning for potential emergency disastrous events in your school. We encourage you to adapt the model To-Go Bag to meet the specific needs of your school population and community. As you develop classroom to-go bags, please be aware that although each bag will contain similar components, it will be most effective when items specific to a classroom or to a student with a special health care need are included. The to-go bag should be portable and readily accessible for use for any shelter-in-place event. The to-go bag may consist of chain of command, emergency plans, and the emergency operating manual. A map of building with location of phones and exits, map of local streets with evacuation routes, master schedule of classroom teacher, list of students with special health concerns and medications, student roster including emergency contacts, a current yearbook with pictures, a staff roster including emergency contacts, local telephone directory, lists of district personnel's phone, fax, and beeper numbers. Supplies may include a flashlight, first aid kit with extra gloves, a CPR disposable mask, battery-powered radio, two-way radios or cellular phones, a whistle or horns, extra batteries for radio and flashlight, peel-off stickers and markers for name tags, paper and pen for note-taking, individual medications, health equipment, and please discuss and plan for these needs with your school nurse, age-appropriate activities for students like video games, toys, or coloring books. We are hopeful that by providing you with a model to-go bag, your ability to plan for your student safety in any event demanding a shelter-in-place response will be enhanced. Ensure that your emergency plans are being reviewed and updated regularly by school officials, local law enforcement, county emergency managers, and public health officials. Contact the U.S. Department of Education and the U.S. Department of Homeland Security for further resources. Shelter in place means to take immediate shelter where you are, at home, work, or school. Local emergency response professionals may instruct you to shelter in place if chemical or biological hazards are released into the environment. Hazardous material releases can result from many sources, including accidents at refineries and chemical treatment plants, collisions involving trucks or trains transporting chemicals, or an act of terrorism. A school's shelter-in-place plan includes provisions for protecting students and staff in the school building when going outdoors may be too dangerous. This video has been produced by the University of Findlay's School of Environmental and Emergency Management program for the Ohio Department of Health School and Adolescent Health section to provide your school staff with an overview of the procedure for sheltering in place. It is crucial that you consult your local health department and emergency management agency as you plan for any emergency response. They can help you identify potential hazards specific to your community, as well as help you to determine the supplies that your building will need to provide a safe environment to shelter in place. Depending on your building, you may choose to shelter in place in the classroom or in some other pre-designated room that has as few windows and doors as possible. This video is not intended for use with students, but rather as a tool to facilitate discussion and planning by school staff. The information contained in this video is not meant to supersede local school board policies or procedures. Each school district will need to develop plans that are specific for their facilities in collaboration with their local emergency response agencies.